It is official. Jon Jones is finally retired. The heavyweight belt has been given to Tom Aspinall. The nightmare is over. The never ending saga of bullshit that has been haunting the UFC for it's been years now, is finally over. It's finally over. This is Dana White's statement last night. Dana White kindly took the time out of promoting boxing. He kindly took the time out of his day from promoting boxing and glazing the Saudi Arabians and sucking their cock to attend a UFC event, to attend an MMA event, and help promote it a little. So, in the post-fight press conference of UFC Baku, he talks about Jon Jones' retirement and the state of the heavyweight division.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC. International Fight Week starts Monday in Las Vegas. And Tom will be in Vegas all week with us, so we'll get together with him and figure out what's next.
All right, so that was the statement we got, and everyone has been saying it. You can hear how defeated Dana White sounds. He sounded broken. You know, the UFC, him and the UFC with their egos, thinking that they could get Jon Jones back into the UFC the same way they thought they could get Khabib back in 2020. You know, don't remember that too. They really thought they could get Khabib back. They thought the same thing about Jon Jones. They really thought they could get him back, and they humiliated themselves forever. I mean, we could have told you this. You know, for Dana White, last night it's news. You know, for the UFC and Dana White, it was breaking news to them that Jon Jones was retiring. Not to most of the fans who pay attention. You know, we could have told you the retirement was happening when we saw this was fucking trending. And they were trying to do everything to blow it away or cover it up or just not even mention it, the UFC. I think Dana White, when it was brought up to him, said, oh, you know, how many people signed that? You know, over 100,000? And, you know, how many MMA fans are there? 4 million? You know, tried to blow it off, tried to say it's insignificant. Turned out to age just properly, Dana, as Jon Jones is no longer the champion and Tom Aspinall is. We could have told you that the retirement was happening when this video was making its way around the internet. Yeah, so how long have we wasted everybody's time with this bullshit, knowing that this guy is very far removed from the lifestyle of being a fighter, being a fierce champion who's going to defend his belt and promote his division for a long time? No, obviously not. I could have told you that the fight wasn't going to happen when this happened. I mean, I think this was a clear wake-up call. I could also talk about when Jon Jones was openly rooting for Curtis Blades and said, don't be surprised if Curtis Blades win this. Scared to death of Tom Aspinall winning that fight. And it happened. And he didn't tweet anything else after that fight. Don't forget that. Now, for people who are saying that this retirement, you know, retiring disgrace like this won't put an asterisk next to his legacy, you know, not only are there the failed drug, you know, tests, all the failed drug tests, the cocaine, the crashing his car into a pregnant woman, you know, all this shit, beating up his fiance in front of the kids at Caesar's Palace. You know, the list goes on and on. But another thing is, Jon Jones had the ability to give Tom Aspinall the shot that Daniel Cormier gave him. Jon Jones' his most remembered rivalry in his career was against Daniel Cormier, and there was a significant age gap between them. Now, as we see here, the age gap between him and Tom is pretty similar, but this was an opportunity to prove he would have really been the GOAT of all time. Now there really is no definitive GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. There is no definitive GOAT of the UFC right now. You can't argue that Jones is the GOAT with this much bullshit attached to his name, with so many asterisks next to his legacy. And, you know, and just as he retires, we get another one, by the way. And we're going to talk about that right now. I do have some screenshots of the criminal charges, the police report that came out last night, right after he retired, almost at the same exact time when he retired. I would read Jon Jones's entire retirement statement, but who gives a fuck? He's just thanking Hunter. It's the same. It's the most basic ass retirement speech you could get, the most cliche, boring kind. Anyway, so here are some excerpts from the Albuquerque police who did the investigation, or I guess this investigation's still going. I mean, it didn't happen that long ago, as we'll see. The criminal complaint stated an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothes from the waist down. So, a half naked woman was found in Jon Jones's car. We're going to keep reading. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver, but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones, the complaint stated, and a police service aide spoke to the man on the other end of the call believed to be Jones. He appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties to the PSA, the court records say. Now that sounds exactly like Jon Jones. If you remember, after he beat up his fiancée at Caesar's Palace, when he got arrested, he was threatening the officers, calling them racist, all this shit. And even, famously said officer nerd, calling them officer nerd while crying and bashing his head against the police car. To get out of control and very emotional like this when talking to police is very much in Jon Jones's nature. The PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat when a police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made. The man on the phone never answered direct questions about whether he was Jones, the complaint stated. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushrooms at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house. And her next recollection was being at the scene of a traffic accident. She said that the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones, the court record indicated. So, kind of similar to a scandal he was in before where he crashes his car, he flees the scene, only this time he has a half-naked, drugged-up woman on fucking mushrooms and alcohol. Who knows what else? I mean, that's just what she told them. I'm sure there was more. I mean, it sounds like she was so out of it. I mean, obviously, alcohol and mushrooms have the ability to knock somebody out for a long time and make them, make their memory very fuzzy, make them forget long periods of time. But it almost sounds like he slipped in a little bit more in there, or they were taking much more than just that. Or at least that Jon Jones was aware of, slipping her stuff. All right. The police said Jones called the woman phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. the following morning. The text message from the phone were included, though could not be captured in call detail records. So, police report indicated that the crash happened on February 21st, but also in one place stated an officer conducted follow-up interviews on January 24th. It's unclear why the charge against Jones wasn't filed until months after the incident. Well, that's because the UFC tends to cover shit up, and because Jones is a big star, and because they were probably still hoping that they could get this Tom Aspinall fight together, so they were trying to cover up as much scandal and controversial shit that Jon Jones could possibly get himself into between that time. This is, crazy. I'm just so happy that the nightmare is over. I'm so happy Jones is out of it. He's everyone else's problem now, although that is a little scary. I do genuinely fear for the life of his fiancée and children. I really pray for their safety. He seems like a out of control, doesn't have any control over his emotions most of the time, it seems like. He also, obviously, deeply closeted demons, as most of us know, so there's that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. Please like, comment, subscribe. Do you think that, sorry, I don't even know what to say after something like that. Do you think that Jones should go to prison? Should he enjoy retirement behind bars? I think he should. And what do you think about Tom Aspinall and where he goes from here? Obviously, I think we all know it's going to be Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. And tell me what you guys think about that matchup. What you think could possibly happen? I'm just so happy we're going to get a heavyweight division that's going to be active with a champion who's exciting. An exciting champion, not some boring, fucking washed up, deeply closeted junkie who only wants to fight old retired men and washed up middleweights and shit. I'm glad this is over. Please like and subscribe.